Kelvin, what was the key to that stretch at the end of the first half, then beginning of the second? Seemed like you guys really took control there.
Our defense was really good. We were active in pick and roll defense. We got a lot of deflections, loose balls, and we started converting. I mean, we had a lot of looks that we weren't making. J1 and Javier and Maul, I think, all missed layups over a 4-possession period. But once we started, but our defense didn't change, We talk about our holy trinity all the time. We defend, we rebound, we take care of the ball. And if you get a shot every possession, for us it's important, more so than other teams, maybe because of the emphasis we place on offensive rebounding. So the kids that didn't get it did a great job of tipping it out. Tip-outs usually lead to extra passes, and those are open shots. Our defense was good. We had a good plan for Dessou, because you do have to plan for him. I don't know what he did. He was 5 for 13, 2 for 4. He's a gifted offensive player for a big guy. I mean, he's really good. But I felt like we had a good plan. Same thing with Avis. Those were obviously the two guys we focused mostly on. But we were solid. I'd describe us in about every. I don't think we were great at anything today. I think we were just pretty solid at everything.
Record crowd tonight. Just your thoughts on the environment.
Felt like a lot of other games to me. One of the best environments I've ever seen was when we were down 12 or 14 to LSU about 7 or 8 years ago. Did I just say 7 or 8 years ago? Ever how many years it was, and that crowd. The crowd against Cincinnati when Dejan Giroux scored 18 points in the second half. So to me, this is a normal crowd. We have a lot of crowds like this tonight.
Coach, how do you coach the players? It's a very physical game. How do you coach them to say, okay, this is the level of physicality without getting a foul? I mean, it's just shy of a UFC fight with the elbows and stuff, but that's basketball. How do you tell them this is the level that we're going to play at?
Well, it's not easy officiating anybody's games because the athleticism level is so high. But we play exactly the way we practice. Probably from September until 2 weeks before we play in November, I don't call fouls. Because I'd rather tone a kid down than have to tune him up. It's hard to tune kids up. We get on our kids about our intensity level. He really struggled with it when he came here. He had to learn to play physical. Just because you're 5'11" doesn't mean you're physical. The most overrated thing in basketball is how tall you are. It's your toughness level, your competitiveness level. It's not getting on the floor after a loose ball. It's being the first on the floor after a loose ball. When the ball goes up, everything is a competition. That guy's trying to block me out. I'm trying to get to his outside shoulder so I either can get it or tip it. That therein is a competition within the game. So we make a competition of everything, and we try to win all our competitions because there's a huge difference in playing hard and competing. Every team we play against plays hard, but they all don't compete. Our kids compete.
Jamal, this is for you. What does it do for this offense when LJ gets going like that and the ball's going in at the rate it did tonight?
Makes life a lot easier. We try to find the hot hand, and when he has it going, the hot hand usually finds the ball. So him playing how he did tonight, and just being aggressive, taking those shots even with a hand in his face. Coach tells him to do stuff like that because he's capable of making those shots. And it just makes the offense flow a lot easier.
Kelvin, before the game, you mentioned booby traps and trap doors in this league and in relation to being a number one seed with the early reveal. How do you manage, if at all, to being in that position again this year like you were?
Same way, I think that's the third or fourth time we've been in one seed. Whether it's Oklahoma or here, I handled it all the same. I don't get carried away with nothing. You know, this game is history to me now. And I'm not saying that as coach speak. Well, all coaches say that. I don't give a shit what other coaches say. I'm saying it now that this game means nothing to me right now. The only thing I'm concerned about is Iowa State. Iowa State. Anything outside of that is wasting my time. You know, we're 9-3 in the league. They're 9-3 in the league, but we're also 2 games out of 8th place probably. I haven't looked at I don't know who won today, but everybody's so bunched up. You know, we don't have our chest pushed out because we are 9-3. You know, the difference in 9-3 and 7-5 in this league is an open shot or a bad whistle or a good whistle. You know, a loose ball here or there. So, you know, we've won too much to get excited about winning. I don't mean that. I hope you don't take that the wrong way. But, you know, we expect to win. And being a 1 seed, I didn't know we were a 1 seed until Bill Rafferty interviewed me a while ago and was telling me. I think he told me before the game, actually. I don't know, man. It just doesn't matter to me about stuff like that. If we win Monday night, could be 10-3, right? If we lose, we could be 9-4. So I'm more worried about that than the other stuff.
LJ, you guys were tied at 17 there, kind of midway through the first half. What was the biggest thing you saw change whenever y'all went on that big run and held them without any points for over 5 minutes?
Just putting together kills, which is 3 stops in a row. I mean, we buckled down on that end, and then whenever we started getting stops, it led to transition buckets, easier baskets. So it was just playing harder on that end.
You mentioned the deflections and tip outs. What is normally the key for you guys in forcing them and recovering them?
Being in the right spots and the coverage calls. You know, different teams require different coverage calls. We don't have a blanket approach to a team. We have specific approaches to specific players. You know, some kids that are, like Dessou was more of a short roll pick and pop guy. Well, we would guard him different than, say, we would guard Javier. You know, Javier is more of a long roll guy. So when we scout, we see what teams, how their best players play. We know their spots. OJ messed up on a one play and let how many baskets Asma's got because we missed an assignment. And he'll hear about that tomorrow. But, you know, it just comes down to taking pride in your job. They all have a job to do. What we do is not just playing hard. If we're just playing hard, we get beat by 30. It's paying attention to details, being disciplined, trusting your teammates that I'm going to leave this spot on the floor, and we're going to dedicate 2 people to the ball. That means they're 4-on-3 behind us, right? Well, those 3 guys have got to know where they go to guard those 4 guys. If the ball gets in A, it could lead to B, which is probably either an open shot or a dunk. So just the connectivity. The connectivity is the most difficult thing, I think, to teach on defense. Teach them to be connected and be in the right spots and then trusting each other.
Jamal, how beneficial was it to have these days off from today's game to last game on Saturday?
You know, we got to get our legs under us a little bit, but you know, we didn't take too much time off. We obviously worked because we practice how we play, and I feel like we just had a great preparation week and a great week of practice. So the days off helped, but I feel like our practices were really good.
LJ, could you just talk a little bit about the crowd and when shots are falling, how does that make you feel as a shooter?
I mean, the crowd was great tonight. Felt like we gave us a bit more energy, especially when we went on runs. And then as far as the ball going in, it's always good to see your first one go in, especially for me. It gives me confidence to keep letting them go. And then once I start putting the streak together, basket gets bigger, I guess.
You know, we go to Iowa State, to Kansas, to Texas, to TCU, all these places. that's the thing that makes it difficult to win on the road. Is all these places have unbelievable crowds. So when we come home, it's just we're so proud of our crowds and how they've raised their level. You know, we've been selling out and having big crowds around here for a lot of years. You know, but you know, now that we're in the Big 12, our crowds are matching these other crowds that we see on the road. I don't even know who's our next road game. Who do we play on the road? Where? Baylor. You know, we go to Baylor next Saturday. They're gonna have a huge, great crowd. We were in Cincinnati last week. That was the biggest crowd they've had since our renovation. That place was unbelievably loud. It was 12, 14,000, whatever they have. Everywhere we go is a sellout. And so when we come here, we know we're going to have the same thing that these schools have at our place. And I wouldn't trade the Fertitta Center crowd for any of them. I love our little slice of heaven here.
LJ, Max from UT said you guys out-toughed them. And Coach said you had to learn how to play more physical. What do you guys think as a team when the other team says y'all were tougher than them?
I mean, we just go out there and like I said, like Coach said, we just go out there and compete, and that's how we practice. So we come out there expecting to be the tougher team. So we appreciate the compliment, but we go out there expecting to do just that.
Kelvin, I know your focus is on the game at hand, but obviously there was a number of your former players here in attendance. For NBA All-Star Week, they could be anywhere, but they came home and supported you. I see a smile on your face.
Yeah. That makes the old coach feel good. You know, I stay in touch with almost all of them, even Josh and Fabian and Tajay. I mean, there's a sincere love for each other in this program. You know, I'll never forget, God rest his soul, when Reggie passed away, and how many of you guys, Tillman got us a plane that all the players could go on, because there's so many that wanted to go back. You know, whether it was Dejan Giroux and his mother, Galen, Nate, Quentin Grimes, all those guys, wherever they were, they came back here to get on that plane and go with us. Then you see All-Star Weekend. Kyler Edwards was here 1 year, but he will be a lifelong Cougar, because their attachment is the program. You know, our program is built in roots. You know, we water our roots every year. You know, there's some, you know, if you have a good team, you have a good year. Well, those are flowers. You just water flowers. That doesn't, they come and go. But when it's built in those tough roots, and you keep watering them every year with these guys, you know, you think about the guys that were here last year that's not here. The number 8 pick in Jarris, the number 25 pick in Marcus, a guy that's starting in the SEC in Tremont, Reggie, God rest his soul, has passed. We lost 4 of our top 6 guys from last year. And then these new guys come in, and our culture is our culture. Culture doesn't transfer, it doesn't graduate, and it never leaves. So we built an unbelievable culture here, and that's why year after year after year after year, our program is successful.